John, tell me, why did you come to Harlow?
Well, first of all, it's because me and Nikki both lived in London, and we wanted to raise our family, begin our family, and we found a house in Harlow affordable, but also nice size as well. So you got a lot of bricks for your money. So we could afford a 3-bedroom house, which we couldn't afford over in London.
So what year was this?
2004.
So take us all the way back to 2004, and what were the circumstances? What made you think, I need to move, and then move to Harlow?
Well, 2004 was quite a big year because it's the same year that me and Nikki got married, and that set up like the first stepping stones into our family. So once we were married, we looked at buying a house and having children, and we wanted to make sure that we don't think what we called was the right order, so that we had the house first with the space before we started to fill up those spaces. So we looked around, and we looked at outside of London first of all because we couldn't afford inside London, and Harlow seemed to stand itself up. Then when we came out here, we saw the green spaces, we saw the facilities that were here. There was a lovely town centre, there was lovely schools, and it was relatively easy to get around.
Did you have any reservations?
There was like a stereotype about Harlow before we moved out here that we'd heard while we lived in London. But once we come out here, we realised that stereotype was nothing more than just a myth.
What was a stereotype?
That about crime, about how it wasn't a particularly fantastic area to live in. But to be honest, it was a complete fantasy. We had no regrets whatsoever at all. We loved living out here.
So we're here in Radburn Close. So
that's right. Yeah.
And is this where you moved to in 2004?
Yeah. We moved here and we've lived here ever since.
So what did you enjoy, and what do you enjoy about living here in Radburn Close?
Our neighbours mostly. Our neighbours are fantastic. They're wonderful. We get on really well with them, and we feel like a small little community, whereby we kind of look out for one another. We look out for each other's children, or other people look out after our Sam as well. And to be honest, it's accessible. And I feel that even though we live in a town, we don't really live in a town because we're on the outskirts. 5 minutes we have Harlow Common. We can just walk over there, and we can go into the forest. We can look for the deers.
And do you do that? Have you done that?
Yeah.
So would you say it's not like an interview to say we qualify to enjoy Harlow, but in what ways, so for example, I believe your son plays rugby. Are you embracing the community and all that has to offer?
Definitely. To be honest, this is very much our home. This is very much our home. And I actually struggle to remember how our life was like whilst living in London, because now it just seems this is who we are now. Harlow is very much a part of us. We've fallen right into a lot more of a laid back style of living, rather than so fast paced. And any stories we'd heard about things like crime or anything like that, to be honest, we experienced more crime living where we were than where we live now. And to be honest, it's fantastic. Harlow is a really nice place to live.
And you're a teacher, I believe. So
that's right. Yeah.
When you're at school, do you feel there's a sense of identity and belonging in relation to being from Harlow?
Yeah. With the school I work in, everyone is embraced, and regardless of what class you may come from, or what culture, or what background, or what ability you have, everyone is embraced and everyone's welcomed, and we'll get on together. And I feel that I think that says a lot about Harlow in general. And yes, there has been stories about, but to be honest, for every one story like that, there's 1,000 stories where you do get people working together. You do get people helping one another.
So even those go back a bit now, back to 2004, which is where you are in this mosaic and this timeline. Was it hard making friends and building up a sense of community? Did that take a little bit of time?
I think so. I think for a long time before both me and Nikki worked out here, and we got a chance to actually meet people properly, it did feel quite lonely at times. It did feel quite lonely at the beginning, and it was a struggle because a lot of our friends were a drive away, and Harlow is not on the underground system, and the train system, we're not close to the trains either. To the train station, it's a good bus ride away. So we felt that our social life was quite far away. But over the years though, it's changed. Over the years it's changed completely. And now I'd say our social life is more out here than it is anywhere else. And to be honest, it's the friends we've got out here, I don't know, it seems really solid. It's a solid relationship. One, you can depend on people. You can depend on them, and they can depend on us as well.
Do you think if I come back in to celebrate Harlow's 75th anniversary in 5 years' time, do you think you'll still be here?
Yeah, definitely.
And what about people who are, because as we said, this is a changing community. Here we are in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about plans for garden towns to the north. Possibly plans in just down the road in Latham Priory.
Yeah.
Would you encourage other people to come and live here?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of opportunities for families. I think family is a big thing for Harlow, and I think families are the way that Harlow can grow positively. It needs to have families because there's so much here There's so much here. We have a museum. Like, how many towns have a museum? We have a really lovely museum. We have lovely facilities for children. We have good solid schools, and there's so much here for a young family, or even a family of children that are elder, but teenagers. There's a lot of opportunity here, and I think by Harlow expanding and getting more areas, I think it will cater for it. I think there's a lot of opportunity.
You seem to be quite an advocate, quite an ambassador of Harlow. In fact, do you sometimes on social media, do you feel like you want to stand up for Harlow?
Yeah.
Like that?
So I think it gets a lot of bad press. There's a lot of bad press, and sometimes okay, bad press. It may deserve some instances may deserve bad press, but at the same time, there's so much good stuff that happens here, and that doesn't get covered, and it doesn't get noticed. So, for example, with my rugby club, I took a group of my under-8 children to Saracens Rugby Club in North London, and we played a tournament. It was played with 10 teams, and it wasn't about how many tries they scored. It's about how much sportsmanship they showed. How did they take defeat? How did they take winning? Did they encourage the other team? We came second out of our group of players in our team group. We came second, and we came well above other teams from, say, like Bishop Stortford or Epping. And I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot about us in Harlow. To be honest, is that we try and teach our children at rugby club and in schools and around Harlow how to be a member of society, and how to get along with each other, and how to cooperate, and how to be like that good sportsman, how to.
And that sound, probably what you're saying here is very similar to what the people in 1947 were saying. It sounds like, in many ways, talk about people who are pioneers to come to Harlow, but on a matter of principles. Sounds almost like Plymouth Rock, doesn't it? But without getting too high-minded. But you still feel that passion and those responsibility and principles still hold true.
I think to be honest, I think if there are any negatives, I don't think it's a Harlow thing. I think it's more of a nationwide thing. There's a lot. I'm not the only person here that feels the way I do, and just because I'm a teacher doesn't mean that my profession means I've got to feel that way. There's a lot of people here that believe that Harlow is a whole lot better than what other people think it is. If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And John, thank you very much for your time.